Max Blumenthal shared this. I want to play a little to Venezuela and the regime change stuff there because remember, neocon imperialism is not real conservatism. It's not an antithetical true opposition to the left. It's a leftist right wing. It's Trotskyism. And the whole imperial ethos, the reason the leftists get this right is that the socialists understand that the West is controlled by the money power. But the problem is that the socialists like Max Blumenthal typically don't realize that they are also a creation and an operation and a unit of the money power, even if even though they don't recognize it.
Sound familiar? Not the way this ton of cocaine got here. According to what the former head of the Drug Enforcement Administration told Mike Wallace, this drug shipment got here courtesy of what he calls drug trafficking by the CIA in partnership with the Venezuelan National Guard.
Now, this is the same justification, supposedly, for getting rid of Maduro, is that there was this cartel of the Suns, a defunct cartel, which was originally a CIA cartel.
While rumors of CIA involvement in drug trafficking have circulated for years, no one in the U.S. government has ever before publicly charged the CIA with this kind of wrongdoing. And it's not the kind of accusation anyone in government would make without thinking long and hard.
Let me understand what you're saying. A ton of cocaine was smuggled into the United States of America by the Venezuelan National Guard?
By the way, it's not a theory. It's massive books been written on this forever, like Alfred McCoy's book or like Dope Inc., etc. Right? This is like to call it a theory is laughable.
Well,
I mean, it goes all the way back to Gladio, right? Even the U.S. military had alliances with the Sicilian mafia after World War One, right? Back when they had Operation Underworld, where they had the alliance with the mafia and the CIA eventually, not in World War One, but by the time of the CIA, when the alliance was with organized crime to use those networks for black operations and money laundering through the alliance with the Five Families and others for drug running.
In cooperation with the CIA?
that's exactly what appears to have happened.
Until last month, Judge Robert Bonner was the head of the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. And Judge Bonner explained to us that only the head of the DEA is authorized to approve the transportation of any illegal narcotics like cocaine into this country, even if the CIA is bringing it in.
Let me put it this way, Mike. If this has not been approved by DEA or an appropriate law enforcement authority in the United States, then it's illegal. It's called drug trafficking. It's called drug smuggling.
So what you're saying, in effect, is the CIA broke the law. Simple as that.
I don't think there's any other way you can rationalize around it, assuming, as I think we can, that there was some knowledge on the part of CIA, at least some participation in approving or condoning this to be done.
Judge Bonner says he came to that conclusion after a 2-year secret investigation conducted by the DEA's Office of Professional Responsibility in cooperation with the CIA's own Inspector General. And what reason did the CIA have for promoting this drug smuggling?
Well, the only rationale that's ever been offered is that this would lead to some valuable drug intelligence about the Colombian cartels.
Over half of the Colombian drug cartels...
Man, people are so dumb, dude. How do these people get away with this? Like, yeah, we got to run the drugs because if we don't run the drugs, we won't have the intel on who runs the drugs. It's like people are just so stupid.
Cocaine crosses the border with Venezuela on its way to the United States and Europe. Back in the 1980s, the CIA was mandated by then-President Reagan to develop intelligence on the Colombian drug cartels. And so the CIA, with Venezuela's Guardia Nacional, or National Guard, set up an undercover operation, a drug smuggling operation in Venezuela that could handle the transshipment of the Colombian cartel's cocaine on its way to market. The plan was to infiltrate the cartel, and it worked. For the CIA National Guard undercover operation quickly accumulated this cocaine, over 1.5 tons, that was smuggled from Colombia into Venezuela inside these trucks, and then was stored here at the CIA-financed Counter-Narcotics Intelligence Center in Caracas. The center's commander and the CIA's man in Venezuela was National Guard General Ramon Guillen Davila.
I tried to work together with them. I was always aware that they were not telling me everything they were doing.
Annabelle Grimm was a DEA agent with 18 years' experience when she was made agent in charge in Caracas. And she says that the CIA station chief, James Campbell, and this man, Mark McFarland, the CIA officer in charge at the center, told her that to keep the undercover smuggling operation credible, they had to keep the cartel happy. And the way to do that was simple. Deliver their dope, untouched by U.S. law enforcement, to the cartel's distributors. Their dope.
So basically, we just run the whole drug operation, and that's how we figure out who runs the drugs.
Dealers in the United States.
The CIA and the Guardia Nacional wanted to let cocaine go on into the traffic without doing anything. They wanted to let it come up to the United States, no surveillance, no nothing.
In other words, you weren't going to stop them in Miami or Houston or wherever. These drugs were simply going to go to the United States and then go into the traffic and eventually reach the streets.
That's what they wanted to do, yes. And we had very, very lengthy discussions where I told them what the U.S. law was and the fact that we could not do this.
So here you got Jim Campbell, chief of station, who knows about this. Mark McFarland, CIA officer.
I got an easy solution to this. Legalize cocaine. I'm going to make a libertarian type of argument. Legalize cocaine, but you have it like limited to where it's like half strength, right? And then basically you got a whole new market of replacing and competing with store-bought, right? Because basically a half a shot of Coke, right? Don't put it in Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola is nasty. Rot your guts out. No, dude. Create some kind of fizzy, effervescent beverage that has like a half a shot of cocaine in it, right? And then you could compete with Starbucks. Put Starbucks out of business, okay? Because I've all told the story. I did the Coca. I did the Coca one time. Did the Coca one time. Grew out my fingernail one time, and I popped it into that kilo, and I went like a drug lord, like a damn drug lord with a damn long ass pinky fingernail. I did it one time, and then I realized this is, if it was a half a shot of that, and you could make it to where it wasn't cut with freaking baby powder or whatever it is, well, then you got a nice little pick-me-up, dude. I wouldn't have to be drinking these all the time. Problem solved. Now the cartels can't make no money. Now the CIA broke. Problem solved, dude.
Officer knows about this and are stimulating this business of sending what are uncontrolled deliveries of drugs, smuggling drugs into the United States, right?
Right.
Why in the world would they want to do that?
As they explained to me, that this would enable them to gain the traffickers' confidence, keep their informant cool, and it would result in future...
This is the same rationale for terror too, right? Right. Well, look, if we don't run the terrorists, the terrorists will run the terrorists. So we should run the terrorists, then we can control the terrorists. This rationale. If we don't run the abortions, somebody else will do the abortions. It's like 1984 level. But it's funny too, because there's people sitting at the CIA being like, make it the most 1984 retarded level propaganda. Tell them that we have to run the drugs to figure out who's running the drugs.
Seizures of larger quantities of drugs. And also they hope to, I guess they thought they were going to get Pablo Escobar at the scene of the crime or something, which I found personally ludicrous.
But if Anna...
Jamie, could you bring me another bump? Could you bring me another toot? Can you fill up my pinky fingernail one more time? I need another toot. No. La coca. Oh, we're all out of cocaines. That's a joke, by the way. So people clip that. Oh, we got him, dude. We got him. He fessed up. I did cocaine one time in, what year was that? 2011. And had the worst headache ever for like 4 hours. So we got to figure out also how to not have that headache for 4 hours when we create our, what we call, instead of Starbucks, what we call it. What's the name of our pick-me-up fizzy drink spot that has La Coca in the drinks? We'll call it what? Y'all think of a name, we'll call it.
Annabelle Grimm thought this was ludicrous. The CIA station chief, James Campbell, did not. He enlisted the assistance of CIA headquarters in Washington to get approval for the drug shipments. And his bosses at...
Call it store bumps. Store bunks. Zip water. Zip water, that's good. Coca bucks. Boot the toot. Orb water. Damn, is that what Orbs is? It's just Coca? La Coca. We on that cocaine tip tonight. We got him. I can't believe he's admits he does drugs. Y'all are dumb, dude. If you can't tell when I'm joking.
The CIA in Washington went over Annabelle Grimm's head directly to her bosses at DEA headquarters in Washington.
They made this proposal, and we said, no, no way, we will not permit this. It should not go forward. And then, apparently, it went forward anyway.
The joint DEA-CIA investigation...
I mean, exposed. Y'all expose me. Exposed.
we mentioned earlier confirmed that over a ton of cocaine made its way from the counter-narcotics center in Caracas to the streets of the United States. And they discovered that at one point, General Guillen's National Guard tried to ship 1,500 kilos at once.
They were not successful in that because apparently the package they had put together was too large. It wouldn't fit on the plane.
That's what she said.
General Guillen admits to the bungled operation.
It was too big for the airplane door because the plane
what she
was
said.
a 707.
The box was too big to get into the airplane?
That's what she said.
$30 million worth of cargo, drugs, all these officials, the Venezuelans, the Americans, the Colombians, all so stupid that they don't have a box that's small enough to fit inside their own airplane.
The traffickers made a mistake with the plane.
Is it possible that General Guillen was doing this on his own without the knowledge of the CIA?
I would find it very difficult for several reasons to believe that they did not know what was going on. They built, they ran, they controlled that center. General Guillen and his officers didn't go to the bathroom without telling Mark McFarland or the CIA what they were going to do.
That's what she said. Push it to the limits. Limits. Do all of the Coke. Push it to the limits. Limits. Dee da 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 da. This is an awesome song, by the way. I can't play it though, but y'all could just meditate and think of the song in your head, and we'll all sing it together. Dana 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 dana. See, all of that, by the way, is converted into Bitcoins. All of that fiats immediately goes into Satoshis. All right, let's finish this.
The drug smuggling operation finally unraveled nearly a year after Annabelle Grimm says she told the CIA and General Guillen that it was illegal to send drugs uncontrolled into the U.S. Then, a shipment arrived at Miami's International Airport and was seized, coincidentally, by U.S. Customs.
It was seized by Miami Sound Machine, dude.
Those drugs back to the Venezuelan National Guard. But General Guillen told us that operation had been approved by U.S. authorities.
Look, what I see here is that there is a problem between the CIA and the DEA, and perhaps they are trying to find the fall guy who is General Guillen. If I had anything to do with illegal drug trafficking, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
General Guillen is right about one thing. He could travel to
I'm not sure that that logic lines up, right? I mean, because you're sitting there talking to them, that really has nothing to do with you could be covering up and talking to them. So, like, that's flawed
New
logics.
York to talk to us about Judge Bonner's charges only because he had already been granted immunity from prosecution in that DEA, CIA.
Dang, dude. Just shave it, dude. Like, if you're at that stage, just shave it, man. Just shave it, dude. That's just pitiful.
Inspector General's investigation. So we confronted the general with this document, a report from that investigation that reads like his confession.
Guillen lost his
Anybody know any drug generals? That's a sector of the population I've never met. Drug lord generals. You know, they always have drug lord generals always got like a giant bunch of scrambled eggs. You know what I mean? They're proud of their accomplishments. And it overlaps with the dictator. You know what I mean? Like the dictator, he's got like a giant bunch of awards because he's the greatest soldier. But I've always liked drug lord chic. Like drug lords have cool aesthetics. Let's just be honest, right? I mean, tell me a Colombian drug lord doesn't have cool aesthetics. They do, right? The aesthetics are so cool that even the Vice Squad, like Don Johnson in Miami Vice, has to dress like the drug lords. That's the logic of the CIA, right?
composure, and when directly confronted concerning his involvement in the unauthorized and illegal shipment of cocaine to the U.S., confesses.
Look, I say that that confession is not true. In that report, there are a lot of lies. It's useless. I have not confessed anywhere.
So you're clean.
Clean until the last day God has for me.
So far, there has been no legal action against General Guillen. As for the CIA officers,
I thought we could get maybe some fashion tips, right? Because some of y'all dorks, right? Oh, I want a girlfriend. I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm scared to talk to him. Why aren't you dressing like a drug lord? Right? What about 90s Panamanian? Maybe we could start with a Panama Jack. Let's see. Now, see, Panama Jack himself is the aesthetic of the drug lord. So I want his style. I don't want a t-shirt with him on the t-shirt. I want his actual Panamanian drug lord chic, dude, with a damn monocle. That's a monocle so you can inspect the purity of the crop, dude. That's what that monocle's for. And you got to have a long pinky fingernail to poke into that plastic. Right? Jamie's in there singing, dude. 80s Panamanian drug lord. How come we're not getting this chic, dude? Let's see how this dude's dressed. Well, that's a damn Netflix thing. They don't even give you the styles, dude. I want the drip styles. I guarantee you, one of you dorks dressed up like a damn, or dress up like a damn dictator, dude. Dress up like a dictator and go to the bar, and you would be like the best peacocker of the whole thing. All the women out there be like, damn, that nerdy white dude is either balls to the wall bold, or he's an actual drug lord. So he gets paid. Okay, so here we go. This is not bad. We got annoying ass Pedro Pascal. Got a little bit of, he's got some nice drug lord, Ray-Bans. I like it. Not bad. That kind of hat, too many theology dorks ruin that hat. Now here we go. Cuban drug lord chic right here. This is what I'm talking about. Bust up in the club. Do they even have clubs anymore? Are there still things like clubs that exist? Bust up in a club dressed like that? Chicks would be like, he's got balls. Here's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Here we go. Okay. Cuban drug lord. Yes. Here we go. Now, I don't know about those hats because dorks have still ruined those hats. But you might, if you got money, you might could pull off the hat. Don't do the hat unless you're getting paid. You know what I mean? Because if you wear a hat and you're broke, you look like a fucking dork, dude. And the girls will smell it. I smell dork. I don't smell cocaine. I smell dork. That's what's going to happen. Now, here we go. This is the archetypal right here. Tony's got it going on. Tony Montana has got it going on. That's the vibe I'm talking about. Okay. Something like something tasteful and subtle like that. There we go. We need more Cuban drug lord drip. That's what I'm trying to say here. Because when I go out and I see people dressed, they're dressed like freaking slobs, dude. They dress awful. Just awful. I demand white boys adopt some of the Cuban drug lord chic. But look at that. Just imagine sashaying into the club wearing that. Dude, no woman's going to say no. They'd be like, he's got freaking nuclear testicles wearing that outfit in the club. So that's tonight's fashion lesson for the dorks.
Well, Judge Bonner may believe that someone at the agency must have known, but the CIA and the U.S. Department of Justice say they have discovered, quote, no evidence of criminal wrongdoing. However, the CIA did acknowledge to us that the investigation, quote, did reveal instances of poor judgment and management, leading to disciplinary actions for several CIA officers.
Okay, yeah. Well, we don't worry, we'll take care of the bad apples. Anyway, you get the idea. Making sure I didn't save another important. All right, let's get over here to some of what Coattail covered. Coattail beat me to the news here. It's okay. I like Coattail. He beat me. He got to some of this news before I did, so we're gonna rip him off, and we're gonna cover some of his coverage of the coverage.
This is also good for everyone in the chat, everyone watching this stream now and in the future for the year 2026 is to be appreciative of the time we have.
He was very anti-Christian.
Tony before, and he was talking about, white.
Okay, hold on. I thought I had it queued up. This guy sucks, by the way. This Ryan Motter guy is terrible. Okay, where is he? Okay, I think this is it. This is what I was looking for.
These types of companies. So I think that's fantastic. I don't know if you've seen like James Fishback running for governor in Florida. The rhetoric that he is putting forth, this is exactly what we need. He just had an interview today on Tucker Carlson's YouTube channel. I highly recommend you guys going and checking that out if you hadn't. James Fishback running for governor in the state of Florida to replace DeSantis. He is our guy. He is our guy. He gets it. He's a younger guy. He's only 31, which made me kind of feel old. I'm 36, and there's a 31-year-old running for governor of Florida. So, anyways, moving forward here. What you guys say? I'm old as hell. February 9th, you'll be able to hold. Oh, anyways, that streams. Well, this is the way.
I thought this is where he talks about Muslim stuff. Let me see. This is it.
Reportedly going to do mass deportations and remigration of Muslims in Denmark. So it feels like maybe there's a tide turning in Europe, but this rhetoric that they're going to go to war with the America or Russia, I mean, you guys got to get the Muslims out first. And so this is just a little video highlighting the difference between Poland, which doesn't have a Muslim problem, and Germany. And you can see how the Muslims, they shoot fireworks all through the city. They shoot them at police. They shoot them at German people. There was a video of a German guy riding a bicycle around Berlin, and the Muslims were literally trying to shoot him with fireworks. And there's probably like 20 Muslim kids, all with book bags full of fireworks, literally just shooting them at anybody they knew wasn't Muslim. Yeah, it looks like Gaza. It pretty much does. Moji says, yeah, I lived in a village in Germany. Yeah. So it's crazy. During the day, that is called a no-go zone for Germans. Now imagine that. Imagine that the park in Berlin.
Now, somebody was bitching at me that I just learned about Count Coudenhove Kalergi. I talked about it 10 years ago. I learned about it in 2008. I've known about this and talked about it for a long time. You just are new to my material. So people new to my stuff think that I haven't talked about stuff that I talked about 10, 15 years ago. That's super annoying to me. But this is by design. And this is the reason that we can never turn this stuff around is because people won't admit and recognize that it's a long-term plan by design.
According for the Germans, they call it a no-go zone because all these doctors, engineers, and rocket scientists are selling drugs, getting high, pulling their penis out and masturbating in public, defecating, doing all this type of stuff. And so this is just a quick little snippet. And what he has done is he walks around and he has another guy, and then there's usually another guy that's following behind them. And they'll tell him, hey, you can't film here. You're not allowed to film. You don't have permission to film me. And he says, I'm in Germany. I'm German. I'm going to film where I want to film. And there's a couple times where guys step up to him, and then, they actually are willing to get physical and actually brawl with these people. And then they eventually back down. But it just shows how weak, it's not just Europeans in Europe. Americans, we've been the same way. How weak we are in regards to the fact that physical confrontation is the only way that we deal with this problem, and that's the only language that these other people speak.
Now, this is an important point because this is, I think, difficult for some people to figure out. A lot of these people groups, you can't reason with them because they have sub IQ, literally, right? The average IQ being 80 and down in a lot of these places, a lot of these countries. And unfortunately, the only thing that they understand is forcible remigration. They don't understand, let's convince them of our tradition of civil liberties and let's get them to read the Federalist paper. How come the Somalis aren't reading the Federalist papers? We are at the point where all of the failed classical liberal mouthpieces and loons that I was saying 10 years ago were fake right, controlled opposition, failures. Everybody, all you guys listened to them for the last 10 years, the Daily Wire and all this nonsense, and it allowed the fake right to explode, to be a fake opposition as zillions of third world comes here. Because, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist like Dyer and think that it's all by design, even though the texts themselves say it's by design that we read through. Because people wouldn't admit the reality of the strategies and the plans, and that we live in a hardcore world where other people groups want to get rid of you. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. No, it's history, dummy. Well, I don't want to be extreme. I don't want to. Okay, well then die. I mean, you're gonna die. Like, fine. They will be extreme, right? They will be extreme. They will breed you out, and then you will go away. Like, that's the reality. So that's what you get when you don't want to be. I don't want to be extreme.
So here's a quick little video segment of this. Then this comes from like a 15-minute video of him walking through this park.
I can film what I want, dude. I'm in Germany. I'll do what I want in my country. You don't tell me to film. You don't tell me not to film in my country.
And isn't it funny?
This is what we need, more based German dudes that are just like, screw you. Screw Islam. Screw the Islam. You don't tell me what to do in my country. Right? Imagine with the Arnold voice, but it was based, right? Screw your freedoms. Screw your Muslim freedoms. You don't tell me what to do in my own country.
They're in Berlin. You have what appears to be some type of African migrant. He's telling him, you can't film here. He says, well, I'm German. I'm in Germany. I'm going to film where the hell I want. And then he tells him, F you. F you multiple times. Why, why are they speaking English? Are these people living in Berlin? They haven't even assimilated enough to speak German.
I don't know who the guy is, but if he's not based, he needs to be based. We need more guys like that. Okay, so stop nitpicking bullshit in the clips, dude.
Yeah, bro. I want to follow you. So, amongst the playing children and the families, just everywhere you look, engineers and doctors selling drugs. Telling you that you can't film. Telling a German that he can't film in his country.
Some of the stuff going on there. Now, for a little bit of a interesting reminder here, if you guys don't remember, this was months ago, but it was recently making this
is the last Coattail clip, and then we'll move on.
It's rounds again. This is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stating that one Israeli life is equal to 40 American lives.
In fact.
Okay, what's the problem, though? Like, where's the problem in that? I mean, I'm pretty sure that we could come up with a Kabbalistic moral calculator, and a Kabbalistic moral gematria calculator could probably give you an accurate ratio of about 40 to 1 lives being equivalent. I think that's about right. I mean, I don't like if the gematria says it, like, what's the problem?
What happened on October 7th when over 1,000 people were massacred in one fell swoop? That's equivalent to about 40,000 Americans massacred. You can imagine what would happen. You know what happened when that happened to you, okay?
Absolutely.
Well, it happened in Pearl Harbor. You had 2,000 Americans killed. You went to World War II, and you knocked out Japan and Germany. It happened again in 9/11. You had almost 3,000 Americans butchered in New York. You went into Iraq and to Afghanistan, and you dealt with it. So Israel obviously received a blow that is 40 times bigger than that, okay? And we defended ourselves in the Seventh Front War. But understand that in the Holocaust, October 7th, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, happened every day for 5 years. 5,000, just like 5,000 October.
All right.